Some of you are wondering, what's Chris going to do? Sing, play guitar, tell some jokes, or just sit up here and look beautiful? I thought, great, a talent show, what a good idea. It can only get better when some of you guys get a bit of talent. I found it inspirational that a show like this would be organised by someone like Mark, whose only main talent is being able to sleep in until 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Don't listen to the critics, Mark. Those people out there that said having you conduct a talent show is like having a deaf retard conduct an orchestra. They're just cynical and jealous and right. Bit of housekeeping. This is a new venue for Christmas. Toilets are down the hallway. No getting on the tables and chairs for my standing ovation. Be careful of the pot plants outside. That's where Brian and Maureen grow their marijuana. Thanks for hosting the Christmas party at your house, Brian and Maureen. They've spent 12 years living in places like Jordan, Japan, China, all without learning a single word in a foreign language. Ray thinks he knows Chinese now because he knows how to say, "Me Reiki," and "Me no Reiki." Maureen has at least learnt to say hello, thank you, and I'm sorry about my husband. Nana moved out of Newland Street this year after she got tired of waiting for Liv to leave home. She also celebrated her 97th year a few weeks ago. That makes her almost as old as some of the threepence she puts in the Christmas pudding. I love finding one of those coins. Think of how many times they've passed through a Fitzgerald's gastrointestinal. If it happens to you, make sure you return it to Liv. She's been using them in her own recipes to add some taste. But Nana suggested I do a roast for Christmas. I prepared the speech. She was talking about a roast chicken. I'm not used to bagging people at family gatherings, so I got some tips off Mick. I thought I should take his advice because a week later he sent me an invoice for it. So here goes. Yeah. I believe it was Jean Paul Sartre. It doesn't really work for me. Pregnant pauses are more important for Mick because he gets paid by the hour. I suspected he was a bit drunk when he gave me those tips. After all, it was after midday. And Mick drinks a lot. When the local bottle shop did their tax return, they listed him as a dependent. He tried to have a month off this year. Things were going well until a bad day in court saw him at the City Tats Club. Getting drunk so much he threw up on his own shirt. He said, "Oh no, Fran's going to kill me." The bartender said, "Don't worry, here's $10. Put $10 in the top of his shirt." And said, "Just tell someone else spewed on your shirt." And they gave you $10 to get the dry cleaning done. Mick gets home and said, "Fran, look, someone spewed on my shirt and they've given me $10 to get it cleaned." Fran said, "But hang on, you've got $20. He goes, "Oh yeah, he also shit my pants as well." It's a good story, cute story Fran was telling me earlier. It's been a good year on the sporting front with the touch team winning another comp despite a lack of confidence from Alison, who booked a holiday for grand final time. I got most valuable player because I rang Simon as a ring-in for grand final.
Thank God! Yay, Simon!
I'm On the academic front, Michaela's received an award as Emerging Artist, while David's finally finished his 4-year arts degree started 13 years ago. Seamus did a gap year in Europe on a shoestring budget of $5 a day, which was just what their struggling economy was needing. I was surprised to hear him talking about retirement from football already, given how lucrative that sport could be. But I guess you wouldn't realise that playing for a Jewish side. I don't want to perpetuate any stereotypes, but when Adam bought me a Kris Kringle once, he gave me a voucher for $90.50. I felt a bit short-changed until he said the envelope cost him 50 cents. Cousin Kay is carrying on the tradition of having twins, the Fitzgerald tradition. We're not sure if they are identical, but I saw Hemi playing with Finn earlier. At least he thought he was playing with Finn, he was actually looking in the mirror. But it's going to be funny seeing them grow up and start chasing girls, particularly if they inherit Dion's ability to run around like Benny Hill. Just be careful, Kate, some of the twins I know are pretty fucked up. Nick's not here. Nick's not here. But he must be doing well. He's sending both his kids he's sending his kids to Askham and Cranbrook. I mean, how much money is it that bloke embezzling from Johnson & Johnson? He's not sending Jack to Waverley College as he doesn't want anything to do with the school or have him as school captain. Coming from Randwick boys, I don't understand why he'd spunk all that money on a private school education. Randwick's got an old boys network that's allowed Simon to buy some of the cheapest cocaine in Sydney. Hope I'm not spilling the beans there, but over the years Simon's cut more lines than a crippled kid at Luna Park. The other day I bumped into a bloke who was captain of school at Cranbrook 20 years ago. He was still banging on about the expert tutors, a great sporting facilities, a well-connected old boys network. I was starting to feel a bit deprived, and still eventually the light went green and I told him to get his squidgy mop off my windscreen. But the other big shock this year has been Dad getting sick for the first time in his life. He's retired from the chemist shop where he's been a Bondi institution for 40 years, looking after other people's ailments. Unfortunately, there's nothing on the shelves of his ailment. We're all praying for you. We're proud of the courage and positivity you're dealing with it. The shop's also been put on the market, so get in there soon if you still want mates rates on pharmaceuticals. Unfortunately, there's no Viagra left. Tim and Sandra took it all to Europe. It's also meant his familiar bald patch has been missing in the Tama surf, where he's spent the last 50 years dropping in on other surfers. Baby Mac is especially glad that you chose to live next door to Mackenzie's Beach instead of, say, Lady Jane Beach. It's a shock with Dad's lifestyle. We assume his health and well-being would be like one of his Jingle Bells poems. Just go on and on forever and ever. Not that he hasn't had some flirtations with death in the past, whether it was hurtling down a ski slope, wiping out on waves in Hawaii and Bali. He survived anaphylactic shocks from eating snails and a collision with a kangaroo which totaled his Datsun 180B. Just getting in a car with Dad used to be a white-knuckled ride, especially down the snow when he refused to put chains on until he skidded into the other side of the road. One time he relented only to realise the chains he owned weren't for the Nissan van, but for the Datsun 180B that was totaled by the kangaroo. We had to fasten the chains to the wheel using the shoelaces of our Dunlop volleys. But his eccentricities date back to when he was at school and his nickname was Bananas. He's never afraid to be outrageous and different, which is set an example even when he's even when you think he's as mad as a cut snake. When Jack rang me 4 months ago and told me, Dad's not right, there's something wrong with his brain, my initial response was, thanks Jack, but I worked that out a few years ago. If you worked it out just now, there might be something wrong with your brain. But if there's a positive to come all this, it's brought the family close together. Josh's medical knowledge has been valuable. Ben's been spooning Dad to sleep at night, and Al and Dad are both enjoying their newfound love of coffee enemas. There's a lot of love in the food that Jack's sashing out, Cal preparing, along with a lot of carrots and beetroot. It's also the first time in life Dad sat down long enough so you can have a talk to him. It's unfamiliar territory for all of us, but whatever happens to you, we love you, we're proud of you, and thankful for what you've provided. It's a reminder to us the importance of family, and forgive those times when we get annoyed with each other. Like at touch, when Mark drops the football with a line wide open.
Back to Mark.
Or Al throws one of his retarded passes.
When you drop it.
And I'm thankful for all the idiosyncrasies when Nana's family gets together, because it's quite easy to take the piss out of you for 10 minutes. Merry Christmas.